Okay, I'm gonna keep this one real short. There's Cleo. Hi, precious. She's walking around on me. It really does me good to see her blossom because she was so afraid when she came to me. But I wanted to talk a little about people watching me, I guess. It happens sometimes in public these days that um somebody will just I'll notice somebody's just watching me, and it's more like a curiosity, and I don't like to use the word intrigue, but intrigued, and I'll just be sitting there looking out the window, and I'll just be, and I realize God has put a flag on me that I have something they need, and He's letting them know Heather has something you want, and they'll just be watching me. And if I get an opportunity and I give them a packet, they will always take it, and they will always be really appreciative. It is very interesting. And the funny thing is if you've known me online for a long time, is that one of my biggest rager issues would be when somebody was staring at me and Ron. I hated that when somebody would stare at us. But he was a blind dude. He had a stroke. He was in a wheelchair. People gonna stare. Unfortunately, I wasn't spiritually developed enough to take advantage of that and say, you want to know how we can be so happy? Here, come on over. I got something for you. Yeah, I wasn't there yet. But um, these days, if I notice someone watching me, there's always a chance to give them something at some point. And then when I do, they're very appreciative. And last night there was a guy on the bus. I think he had had a few alcohol beverages, and he was talking very loudly in the back of the bus in Spanish with somebody for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. We're going down the road, and his friend gets off, and he's just sitting in the back. He's just watching me. But it wasn't like scary, like, how I was going to look in his playroom or whatever. It was just like, what is it? You've got something. What is it? Trying to figure it out. And admittedly, I'm kind of weird. I'm a white lady, middle aged, with red hair, riding the bus. I'm clean. I'm presentable. I'm going home from work. You do not see a lot of ladies like me on the bus, not on these buses. And so that it's a little bit small, notable, but not that interesting, I don't think. And but I think God puts a note on me that hey, she's got something you need. And when I get a chance, I always I will give them my last packet. I will give them my own Bible if I have to. And this guy, when he got off, I said, hey, Jefe. Jefe means boss in Spanish. I call everybody boss. I think it's a nice sign of respect. English, Spanish, I always try to call him boss. And it's like all gender too, man, lady. I've only had one person get upset when I use that word, boss. And he turned to me. It was a middle-aged white guy, and he turned to me and said, "What did you call me?" I said, "Boss." He's like, "Oh, okay," and that was it. So he was getting off and said, "Hey, boss, I got something for you." And I had the packet in my hand already because I knew this was coming, and I gave it to him. And he turned to me and he just looked me in the eye and he said, "Thank you," very sincerely. And he put his hand on my wrist very gently, and he said, "Thank you again. I really appreciate this." And he got off. Like he actually knew I was trying to give him salvation and peace with God and all that good stuff. It was very, very interesting. So it is very fascinating to me how God is working on me to mature and spiritually, so that it doesn't bother me anymore when people watch